Channel 9 doesn't exist. A psychological story about a boy, a voice, and the strange frequency between silence and memory. Part 1: The Evacuation Gym. The gymnasium didn't smell like a gym anymore. Not of sweat or floor polish. Now it smelled like plastic bags, wet socks, and soup that had cooled in metal pots. They said this was the safe zone. But nothing about it felt safe. Rows of displaced people lined the walls of the old-school gym in Stepnohursk, a town already half-emptied by shelling. Mattresses made from clothes. Blankets borrowed. Everyone looking down, as if eye contact might summon the next strike. In one corner sat a boy, Anton, 15 years old, wearing a jacket 2 sizes too big, sleeves pulled down over his hands. He didn't speak. Didn't ask for food. Didn't cry. He just sat, legs crossed, eyes scanning the gym slowly, as if waiting for something or someone to move wrong. Next to him, always, was the old military radio. Metal body scratched, antenna bent, speaker barely holding on with 2 screws. He never let it out of sight. Never powered it up during the day. Only at night, and only when no one could hear. Anton had arrived during the second wave of evacuations. The first had been chaotic, but at least buses came. Now, transport was uncertain. Volunteers said, "Any day now," like a prayer. He didn't believe them. He didn't believe anyone. Except for what came through the radio. He wasn't supposed to have it. They'd taken all electronics from the younger evacuees, for safety, they said. But Anton had hidden the radio in the lining of his backpack, beneath loose thread and a stitched-over logo. It was a gift from Uncle Yurko, a stubborn ex-radio tech who used to say, "When the world falls apart, the old frequencies come back." No one else believed that. Anton didn't either. Until the third night. It was 1:14 a.m. The building was asleep. Or pretending. He sat near a broken window, wrapped in a thermal blanket, tuning the dial slowly, methodically. Most frequencies were dead. Some crackled with distant static. Others buzzed with strange electrical hums. But then. A voice. Old. Low. Calm. "Still out there, aren't you?" Anton froze. The gym stayed quiet. Channel 9 is open. Still listening. His fingers tightened around the radio. "If you hear me, you don't need to answer. Just know this, not every road leads away. Some turn back. You just have to know when." Silence. Then nothing. Just static. Part 2: Don't trust the third bus. Anton didn't sleep. He just sat with the radio in his lap, breath held like the voice might come back if he stayed still enough. In the morning, he told a volunteer, a woman in a puffy jacket who smiled too much. "Someone's still broadcasting. I heard them." She looked at the dusty radio and laughed gently. "Sweetheart, that thing's older than me. Probably just echo. Interference. Ghost frequency." But Anton noticed something strange in her face, a flicker of discomfort before she turned away. As if she wasn't entirely sure. Later that day, the buses came. 3 of them. Volunteers shouted numbers. Families scrambled to collect children in bags. Anton's name was on the third list. Bus 3. To Poltava, then Ternopil. He didn't want to go. Not yet. He still hadn't heard the voice again. But he didn't argue. Just boarded quietly, taking a seat near the back, clutching the radio like a talisman. And then. Bus 3 never left. There was a delay. Then confusion. Then sirens. The bus was gone. The official word was miscommunication. That the route had shifted. That the passengers were rerouted. But some people whispered darker things. The corridor collapsed. Minefield maybe. No survivors. Anton listened to them. Then went back to his corner. turned the dial again. At exactly 1:14 a.m., the voice returned. Told you not to trust the third bus. Anton didn't move. You're not crazy. You're not broken. But you are seen. He exhaled for the first time all day. Part 3, The Boy Who Stopped Talking. Anton had not spoken a full sentence since the day his uncle disappeared. It had been 8 months ago, February, still deep winter. Sirens had gone off twice that day. The second one was real. His uncle had shoved the radio into his hands, muttered something about the grid collapsing, and disappeared into the smoke. Don't listen to the loud ones, he had said. Find channel 9. It's quiet, but it listens back. Anton remembered the words exactly, though he never fully understood them. Now, in this cracked gymnasium with people who smiled too much and said too little, the radio was the only thing that didn't lie. That night, the voice came earlier. 12:58 a.m. Still with me, son? Anton blinked. I see your hand on the dial. You want to ask something. Anton's throat clenched. He stared at the tiny speaker like it was watching him. You want to know how I know you? Or maybe you're asking why no one else hears this. The man sighed. Truth is, not all radios are tuned for listening. Most just want to speak. Anton felt the heat rise behind his eyes. But you were made to listen. That's rare now. There was a long pause. The kind that made the air heavy. Tomorrow they'll move you again. West. But your uncle's not west. He's waiting, but not there. Anton grabbed a pencil from his coat and scratched onto a napkin. Where? You'll know it when you hear the wind change. The signal crackled. Anton, don't let the buses take you. Then the frequency collapsed into static, not clean, but shrieking and jagged like it had been yanked off a cliff. The sound didn't stop for hours. Anton curled into himself and bit his sleeve until the cloth was wet with his breath. Part 4, The Window That Faced North. The gym had one small window that hadn't been fully boarded up. It looked north, toward the forests, the dead fields, the broken towers. Anton sat beneath it now. The radio on his lap, covered in a shirt. He kept a map folded in his jacket, scrawled on with arrows and X's. He had made his choice. He wouldn't board the bus tomorrow. Instead, he would follow the frequency. Before sunrise, he slipped out. Through the back hall. Past the nurse's cot. He waited 5 minutes behind a crumbling wall, listening. No alarms. No one noticed. Then he ran. Across the mud flats. Over frozen gravel. He moved like a shadow. Low, silent, invisible. By the time the sun touched the edge of the world, he was 2 kilometers out, headed toward the reservoir tower, the place the voice had whispered about. He walked most of the day. Blisters formed. His coat got caught on barbed wire once. A siren wailed in the distance, not near, but loud enough to rattle the birds. And then, just after dusk, he saw it. A red tarp. Tied between 2 trees. Flapping like an angry flag. He approached slowly, heart battering his ribs. A figure sat beneath the tarp. Old. Thin. Wrapped in 3 coats. Anton, the man said without turning. Anton stopped. His hands trembled. I've been waiting. You're later than I thought. Part 5, A Voice That Wasn't There. The man was Yurko. His uncle. Alive, barely, but there. They didn't hug. They didn't need to. They just sat, facing the fire, the radio between them. Anton reached into his coat and pulled out the scratched device. You sent me messages, he said, voice cracking from disuse. Yurko frowned. No. I haven't touched a transmitter in weeks. Battery's dead. Signal towers are gone. Anton shook his head. But I heard you. He turned the dial, frantic now, desperate to find the frequency again. But the radio stayed silent. Not even static. Just a dry hum, like a breath held too long. "Someone told me to come," Anton whispered. "They said you'd be here." Yurko looked at him, not confused, but reverent. As if he understood something deeper. Then maybe someone still watches over listeners. They sat in silence as wind moved the trees like slow ghosts. Anton clutched the radio, tears finally breaking down his cheeks. His uncle reached out, gently covering the boy's hand. "Some voices don't come from towers. They come from memory. From love that refuses to shut off." He added quietly. "You kept the channel open, Anton. That's all that matters." Epilogue, Channel 9. Months later, Anton sat in a converted shelter in western Ukraine, now helping with logistics. He didn't talk much. But he listened. One day, a frightened child arrived, a girl no older than 8, clinging to an old toy and silent from shock. Anton crouched beside her, handed her a small object wrapped in cloth. "The radio. Turn it to Channel 9, he said. "Even if you don't hear anything, keep listening." The girl looked at him, uncertain. "Sometimes silence," he said, "is just memory, waiting to speak." Candle the end.